What are some practical ways to please the Lord in obedience? Give yourself over to God. Romans 12:1 says this, and so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let him be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. That's truly the way to worship him. Part of giving yourself over to God is to be his ambassador to other people. 2 Corinthians 5:20 says, so we're Christ's ambassadors. God makes his appeal through us. We speak for Christ when we plead, come back to God. You see, think of what an ambassador is. They're given over to God. They don't represent themselves. They don't have their own message. They're chosen for the job by another, and they can't compromise their stance. So be his ambassador. A second way you can, be obedient to God is be obedient by being an example to other people. 1 Peter 2:12 says, be careful to live properly among your unbelieving neighbors. Then even if they accuse you of doing wrong, they'll see your honorable behavior and they'll give honor to God when he judges the world. Part of the obedience is what happens when something is doubtful. If you aren't sure whether you should or shouldn't do something, look at this verse or two. James 2:12 says, whatever you say, whatever you do, remember, you'll be judged by the law that sets you free. And over here in Romans 14:20, don't tear apart the work of God over what you eat. You can choose lots of stuff instead of eat. Remember, all foods are acceptable, but it's wrong to eat something if it makes another person stumble. It's better not to eat meat or drink or do anything else if it might cause another person, a believer, to stumble. You may believe there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, but keep it between yourself and God. 1 Corinthians 10:23 kind of says the same thing. You say, I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything's good for you. You say, I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything's beneficial. Don't be concerned for your own good, but for the good of others. You see, 2 Corinthians 6 wraps it up. We serve God. 2 Corinthians 6:8. We serve God whether people honor us or despise us, whether they slander us or praise us, because we're being obedient to him. Obedience, it's not the easiest part of being a Christian. It just isn't. But God will bless you if you can be obedient to him in this. In giving yourself over to him, to be his ambassador to tell others about him, and being obedient by not driving others away from him through what you do. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Day of Devotion.